In 1971, something changed in America. Not a war, not a revolution, just one quiet financial shift. But that single change slowly created something strange. An entire generation started working harder than ever, yet somehow they never felt richer. People bought bigger houses, better cars, nicer lifestyles, but their freedom quietly disappeared because what most people call the American dream might actually be the most sophisticated financial trap ever created. And the scariest part is, almost everyone walks straight into it without even realizing it exists. Picture a normal American life. Someone graduates college. They land their first real job. The paycheck finally arrives, and for the first time, life feels stable. No more worrying about tuition. No more depending on parents. Now the future looks predictable, and predictable feels safe. So the next step begins. A better apartment, a reliable car, furniture that doesn't come from a college dorm. None of these decisions feel dangerous. In fact, they feel responsible. This is exactly what society encourages. Build a stable life, upgrade slowly, enjoy the rewards of hard work. And for a while, everything seems perfectly fine. But something almost invisible. Every upgrade adds a small financial commitment, a slightly higher rent, a slightly bigger car payment, a few extra monthly subscriptions, a nicer neighborhood. Individually, these changes look harmless. But together they begin forming something powerful. A lifestyle that slowly becomes expensive to maintain. And the moment your lifestyle requires your paycheck, your freedom quietly shrinks. Because now your income isn't just income anymore. It becomes survival. Suddenly the job isn't optional. The paycheck isn't optional. And the system quietly locks into place. This is the moment the middle class trap begins. Not with poverty, not with bad decisions, but with comfort. Comfort grows slowly. Then responsibilities appear. Marriage, children, a house, a mortgage that stretches for 30 years. 30 years of guaranteed payments, 30 years where stability becomes more important than freedom. And the strange thing is, most people celebrate this moment. Buying a home feels like reaching the top of adulthood. It feels like security. But financially, something deeper happens. The house becomes an anchor tied directly to your income. Your job now feeds the mortgage. Your career now protects the house. And once this cycle begins, the system becomes very difficult to escape. Because every few years, income grows slightly. Promotions arrive, raises appear, and instead of creating freedom, the extra money upgrades the lifestyle. A bigger house, a newer car, more convenience, better vacations. It feels like progress, but what's actually happening is something economists call lifestyle inflation. Income rises, and expenses rise right alongside it, so the financial position never truly changes. The lifestyle improves, but the freedom stays the same. And sometimes it actually gets worse, because every new upgrade adds permanent monthly costs. Now, imagine someone waking up one day and realizing something uncomfortable. They've been working for 15 years. They earn more money than ever. Yet stopping work even for a few months would create serious financial stress. Not because they're irresponsible, not because they're bad with money, but because their entire lifestyle now depends on their salary. This realization hits millions of people in their 30s and 40s. From the outside, their lives look successful. Nice homes, good careers, comfortable lifestyles. But internally, many of them feel something strange. A quiet pressure. A feeling that they cannot slow down. They cannot step away. They cannot experiment with new opportunities. Because too many things depend on the paycheck continuing, and that's when the middle class trap becomes fully visible. It doesn't look like a trap. It looks like stability. But real stability isn't about having income. Real stability is about having options. The option to walk away from a bad job, the option to take a year off, the option to pursue something meaningful. For many middle-class households, those options quietly disappear because the money flows in one direction, outward. Mortgage payments, car loans, insurance, taxes, utilities, education costs, daycare, groceries, healthcare. Month after month, the money arrives and then quickly leaves. And over time, something fascinating happens. Two people can earn the same salary for 20 years, yet end up in completely different financial situations. One person owns assets, investments that quietly grow in the background, stocks, businesses, real estate that produces income. The other person owns lifestyle, nice things, comfortable things, but things that constantly require money to maintain. Both lives look similar from the outside, but financially, they are moving in opposite directions. One life slowly builds independence. The other life slowly builds obligation, and time quietly amplifies this difference. Because responsibilities grow with age. Children grow older, education becomes expensive, healthcare becomes unpredictable. Suddenly, financial risk feels terrifying. And when risk feels terrifying, people choose safety. They stay in the same careers, the same routines, the same financial structure, even if deep down they feel stuck. This is why the middle class trap is so powerful. It doesn't rely on force, it relies on psychology. Comfort today, responsibility tomorrow. Fear the next day. By the time someone recognizes the pattern, their entire life is already built around it. But the trap itself is not permanent. It only survives when income is used to upgrade lifestyle first. The moment someone reverses that pattern, everything begins to change. Instead of asking, what can I afford to buy next? They begin asking, what can I own that produces income? Instead of upgrading the house immediately, they upgrade investments. Instead of chasing status, they quietly build assets. And slowly, almost invisibly, their financial structure transforms. Because wealth rarely arrives dramatically. It builds quietly, small decisions repeated over years, money that starts working instead of constantly leaving. Eventually, a strange moment arrives. Income from assets begins covering real expenses. Work becomes optional instead of necessary. And that's when the middle class trap finally loses its power. Because the trap was never about income. It was about dependence. And the moment someone stops depending entirely on their paycheck, the system that once controlled them no longer holds the same power. Most people never realize this until very late in life. But the few who understand it early don't escape the trap through luck. They escape through structure, a different way of thinking about money, a different way of building a life. Because real wealth doesn't come from earning more. It comes from needing less and owning more. And once that shift happens, the trap that once seemed impossible to escape quietly disappears.